Exclusive contract with Fengyun Novel Network novel. Zongwu. My father Xiong sign into the great wilderness prisoner Tianzhi Kyushu land, **** Xiong rises together. Dynasties and sects stand tall, with countless masters, and there are also rumors of immortals in the sky. Mukin once traveled through the world of comprehensive martial arts, only to find that his father was actually the leader of the World Association, Xiong. Mighty and unparalleled, looking down on the world. Since he is the young master of the world, Mukin naturally dares to take the lead and only seeks to dominate the martial arts world. Not to mention that he was equipped with a check-in system and received the great wilderness prisoner's heavenly finger at the beginning. Those who follow me prosper, those who oppose me perish. Grasp the strongest fist in the world and wield the most supreme power in the world. I have control over this world. From then on, there will be an additional god of slaughter in the martial arts world who is decisive in killing and slaying the heavens in reverse. One person's success is worth 10,000 bones. When his name Mukin spread throughout the world, countless sects behind him were destroyed. Fengyun Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The World Conference. The Huang prisoner Tianzhi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zongwu. The world will meet. This place is nestled between the mountains and the natural dangers, with buildings standing in a complex and magnificent manner. At the foot of the mountain, a large number of martial artists gathered. Today is the birthday banquet of the world guild leader Xiong, and countless martial arts figures have been invited to attend. In recent years, the power of Tianzhi has rapidly expanded, and the two subordinates of Xiong, Fengyun, have assisted in expanding the territory and gained a prestigious reputation in the martial arts world. Numerous sects in the martial arts world cannot resist, all bowing down to pay their respects. Suddenly, Tianzhi has become one of the top forces in the martial arts world. At the same time, there are also several martial arts sects who are unwilling to obey and secretly resist the Tianzhi society. They only wait for the right time to overthrow the rule of the Tianzhi society. For a while, the surrounding rivers and lakes were surging with undercurrents, and today's Xiongba's birthday banquet saw many martial arts practitioners with their own thoughts and many variables. At the same time, behind the mountain, within a small building in the center of the lake. Am I traveling through? In a room with a fragrant ancient style, a handsome young man looked around in surprise. Feeling the surging memories in his mind, his mood also fluctuated accordingly. Surprise, surprise. The boy's name is Mukin, from Blue Star, but he is a bit confused. He didn't know whether he was wearing a soul or a body, because he found that he in this world was exactly the same as his former self. Even a small mole is like a past life. And the memories in this life's mind also seem to have been experienced firsthand, indistinguishable from the memories of the Blue Star in the previous life. He also doesn't understand which life is his true self. Zhuangzhou dreams of a butterfly dreams of Zhuangzhou. Unable to understand, he decided not to think too much, but to examine his own identity in this world. With memories, the various aspects of this world also surprised him greatly. This place is called the land of Kyushu, with a vast and boundless area, far surpassing the previous Blue Star. On the land of Kyushu, countless dynasties and sects stand tall, balancing and playing games with each other. Between dynasties, there were Sui, Song, Ming, Mongolian Yuan, Bailey, Liang and other dynasties standing side by side, competing for the central plains. On the vast rivers and lakes, there are endless sects and forces vying for dominance in the martial arts world. Except for old and orthodox sects like Southern Shaolin and Northern Wudang, no one can shake them. Various forces in the other martial arts world are intertwined and intertwined. Such as the Flower-Moving Palace and the Sun-Moon Divine Cult are both righteous and evil, but their strength cannot be underestimated. The Beggars Sect, the Power Sect, and the Qinglong Society, with their followers scattered throughout the land, responded to orders from all over the world. Wushuangqing, Zuyuqing, Qingqing Mountain and other emerging forces are also actively emerging. In addition, there are also external demonic sects that are eyeing the martial arts of the Central Plains. Under this, countless martial arts figures are like crucian carp crossing the river, trying to compete for the top spot in the world. Without a doubt, this is a magnificent world of martial arts. And these forces, numerous figures in the martial arts world, are also extremely familiar to Mu Chen. Live a lifetime again, and have the opportunity to enjoy gratitude and revenge, cultivate martial arts skills and step alone in the world. Mukin is both excited and excited. But after waiting for him to receive all the memories in his mind, the enthusiasm in his eyes faded and gradually turned into helplessness. Because according to memory, he was weak from a young age, with weak muscles and veins, and was unable to cultivate martial arts at all. That is to say, even if he is in such a magnificent world, everything that happens has nothing to do with him. Being in a great world without a foundation, should one live a mediocre life like this? But I didn't expect that the rumored leader of the Tianxia Guild, the unparalleled tyrant, would actually be my father in this lifetime. Mukin let out a light sigh, while lamenting that he couldn't cultivate himself. He was surprised by his current identity. World Guild Leader. 3 unique skills combined in one, divine skills unparalleled. Overlord and unparalleled, a majestic ruler who overlooks the world. As the founder of the World Association, under his leadership, the gang has reached an unprecedented peak and has entered the world's top forces in this area. We have the 12 evil killers of Tianzhi under our banner. Shenfeng Hall Niefeng. Fengyun Hall, Step by Step. Heavenly Frost Hall Qin Shuang and other experts. Moreover, there are nearly 100,000 members of the gang, with numerous sub-altars scattered throughout the world's rivers and lakes. Command from all directions, with immense power. This powerful person can even be called an unparalleled hero. And Mukin, now his identity is the son of a powerful tyrant. Also the young master of the World Association. Although the identity of the son of the Xiong Ba may seem limitless now, given time, the two of them betray each other. After the Xiong Ba's tragic death, the whole world will be controlled by others. At that time, my identity will undoubtedly lead to death. Mukin frowned slightly, feeling uneasy in his heart. Is it difficult to retreat into the mountains and forests in the future, and find a place to hide and spend the rest of your life peacefully? Mukin has no other way. With his current abilities, whether he can establish himself or not is a question of preserving himself. However, it would be even better if I could help my cheap father escape the tragic fate in the original work. In his accepted memory, besides having a half-sister, Yorua, he was the only descendant of the male tyrant, so from a young age, the male tyrant had high expectations of him. After learning that he was unable to cultivate, Xiong Ba did not lose his love and instead protected himself very well. Outsiders in the martial arts world are unaware that Xiong Ba still has a son, and even let Mu Chen's name follow his mother's surname. The purpose of doing this is to get rid of the relationship with Mu Chen in case of any unexpected events in the future. Although Xiong Ba has shown ambition and ruthless methods to outsiders, he cares very much about his family. Alas, the future is full of ups and downs, and the world will change hands several times. So, where should I go? Mu Chen looked solemn, thinking in his heart how to plan the next path. Ding, sensing that the host has crossed over, the check.in system is starting to bind. Ding, system binding successful. Suddenly, just as Mu Chen was pondering, a cold mechanical voice rang out. System. As a traveler, how could he not know the meaning represented by this sound? If he had a golden finger, he could definitely change his fate. At present, he was pleasantly surprised and asked. System, what functions do you have? Ding, the host can sign in at the designated location in the system and will receive a sign in reward. The more special the place, the richer the rewards. Rewards come from all heaven and earth, including techniques, elixirs, divine weapons, physical fitness, and so on. Upon hearing the explanation, Mu Chen's eyes became increasingly bright. The reward of this system can actually obtain things from all heavens and all worlds. As long as one obtains treasures and techniques for cultivation or fantasy world. This world can be fearless, and it is not impossible to stand alone in the world. Ding, the system initially binds to the host and distributes a beginner gift package. May I ask if the host has enabled it? At this moment, the sound of the system rang out again. Open. Mukin did not hesitate at all, he must seize any opportunity to improve his strength. Only in the future can one control their own destiny. Ding, we are opening the beginner's gift package. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a certain fantasy world creation level martial art called, the Huang Prisoner's Heavenly Finger. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the divine level spiritual pill, 9 orifices golden pill, from a certain fantasy world. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a certain cultivation world treasure called, Xian Python Dragon Robe. In the original manga, the protagonist has no son, and this setting is mainly based on the manga. Also, it is recommended that everyone listen to the theme song of the 98 movie version, which is too exciting. Chapter 2. Promotion to the Diamond Realm. Stepping on Mountains and Rivers. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ding, the system space has been opened, the gift package items have been stored, and the host can claim them at any time. Ding, martial arts have automatically entered the host's mind. Integrate and integrate. After hearing what the system novice gift package had obtained, Mu Chen's heart was shaken. He is most aware of the great wilderness prisoner's heavenly finger. After all, in his past life, he had read countless novels, and this martial arts technique was used by a protagonist in a fantasy world. This martial arts is extremely domineering, and it is said to be written by the great emperor. When cultivated to its peak, it has the power to destroy heaven and earth, which is incomparable to ordinary martial arts. 1 finger imprisons heaven and earth. 2 fingers shatter mountains and rivers. 3 finger killing spirit. 4 fingers breaking through the sky. 5 fingers sweep across, move the universe. When this martial arts is practiced to the extreme, one can use the 5 fingers in one and unleash the even higher level of the great wilderness prisoner heavenly hand. Strive for the sky with strength. This level of martial arts is not something that this world can compete against. With such terrifying moves, Mukin is confident that he will be able to stand on this land of Kyushu and step into the strongest ranks. As for the other 9 orifices golden pill, it is also a top-notch benefit for him now. He was weak from a young age, but the 9 orifices golden pill is the best spiritual pill in the world that can solidify the foundation and nourish the soul. It is enough to make any ordinary person undergo a complete transformation. And it allows people to cultivate any martial arts skills in one day and thousands of miles. And this is exactly what Mukin needs now. Based on this pill, it can be considered as his first formal step into cultivation. The protagonist in the original work also obtained the qualification to step onto the top of the world after using the 9 orifices golden pill. Thinking of this, Mu Chen did not hesitate. He took out a dagger, opened his clothes, and made a cut at his heart. In an instant, blood flowed. Mukin let out a muffled groan and then took out the 9 orifices golden pill from the space. He pierced open the skin of his heart, precisely because the method of using this golden pill is to embed it into the heart. In this way, with the help of the power of the heart's blood circulation, the medicine will be continuously washed away, and the power will be integrated into the blood, flowing throughout the body. To achieve the goal of rebirth and transformation. Mukin gritted his teeth to suppress the pain and pressed the golden pill directly into the wound. At first, it was unbearable pain, but then it came to an end. As soon as the 9 orifices golden pill was sewn into the flesh and blood at the mouth of the heart, the medicinal power began to dissipate. The cut flesh and blood also began to condense, and the blood stopped, leaving only a faint red mark in the end. Subsequently, his whole body was incredibly cool, and his lips were constantly secreting sweet bodily fluids, gurgling and swallowing them into his stomach. In an instant, Mu Chen's meridians and limbs flowed with warmth. With this force, the originally weak and small muscles and veins were constantly expanding, and the blocked acupoints began to clear. Mu Chen felt his body light and agile. At this moment, it seemed as if he had broken through some kind of limitation. Along with his thoughts and mind, he understood that this was a perfect transformation of talent. And in one's own dantian, intangible qi also begins to fill. The day after tomorrow, 2 days after tomorrow, 3 times the day after tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, 8 times congenital duality. At this moment, it seemed like a natural outcome. Mukin's mind moved, and all the qi around him converged towards his dantian, achieving 1,000 miles of cultivation in a day. He understands that this is what martial artists call true qi. It's a world of difference from the state we couldn't sense before. From now on, he is no longer without the ability to practice martial arts, but has the most powerful martial arts talent in this world. Boom! Suddenly, Mu Chen's body shook like a roar. And a terrifying gust of wind erupted from within him, creating a terrifying pressure that made the surrounding air restless. Buzzing wow! In an instant, a powerful aura swept through the room like a sword, and all the items in the room were destroyed into fragments, shooting in all directions. After a while, the room gradually calmed down. Mukin took a deep breath and felt the true energy and internal strength filling his body, feeling extremely happy in his heart. What surprised him even more was that under the impact of the medicine, he seemed to have shed his mortal body and crossed the innate realm all the way, reaching the realm of the Vajra mortal realm. This 9 orifices golden pill is truly a divine level pill that can defy heaven and change destiny. You should know that just half a quarter of an hour ago, he was still an ordinary person who could not cultivate. However, at this moment, he relied on his medicinal power and stepped into the dreamy realm of the diamond realm that countless people have dreamed of. This is simply unbelievable. Martial artists start from heaven, and then they sense the true qi to step on the innate world. Only in this way can one become a master on one side. Congenital division is divided into 9 levels, and if the 9 levels are full and round, one becomes a master. Up there lies the Grandmaster's 3 realms, the Vajra realm, the free land realm, and the carefree heavenly realm. Those who step into these 3 realms are all outstanding figures in the martial arts world. In the world of rivers and lakes, there are well-known figures. As long as you reach these 3 realms, there is a place in any place in the martial arts world. It can be said that Mukin now has the qualification to become famous in the martial arts world. There are countless characters in the martial arts world who have gone through ups and downs, like Crucian Carp crossing the river. However, there are countless experts who can be recognized in the martial arts world. It can be seen from this that how many characters are stuck under the master. And he, relying solely on the beginner gift package, has already led countless characters. If he signs in more in the future, his strength will definitely be beyond imagination and terrifying. At this moment, Mukin stabilized in a good state, his mind returned, and he found that the room was already in a mess. It seems that it was just destroyed by the vigorous energy of being promoted to the Grandmaster realm. And his own skin also condensed a layer of pitch-black blood, and there was a layer of foul sweat in his pores. Cutting hair and washing marrow, rebirth and transformation. From now on, I, Mukin, will stir up the ups and downs of the martial arts world. Mukin murmured to himself in a low voice, with an extremely brilliant brilliance in his eyes. At this moment, unprecedented ambition was born in his heart. Grasp the strongest fist in the world and wield the most supreme power in the world. I have control over this world. Subconsciously, Mu Chen clenched his hands tightly, as if he had already grasped the entire land of Kyushu in his palm. At this moment, 2 broken sounds came from outside the door and landed at the entrance. Subsequently, someone immediately opened the door to inquire. Young master. The two of us have sensed a fluctuation of true qi. Are you okay? Upon hearing the inquiry, Mu Chen's head turned and he remembered that the two outside were the elite members of the World Association, Huang and Bat. These two are close guards next to his father, Xiong Ba, with strong martial arts skills. No problem, I was just practicing martial arts. Please wait outside for a moment. I have something to ask you, Mu Chen replied. The eagles and bats outside the door exchanged glances when they heard these words. My heart is filled with a sigh of helplessness. Since before, this young master has been trying to cultivate martial arts. But there was always nothing to be gained. I guess today is just like usual. However, the true energy they had just sensed from a distance was incredibly strong, making them all feel palpitations. I don't understand the current situation of the young master. Listening to the young master just now, he was full of energy, and it didn't seem like he was practicing martial arts and fighting back. So, the two of them dare not ask too many questions. After waiting for nearly a quarter of an hour, the door in front of them opened. A handsome young man, aged 18 or 19, dressed in a dark golden robe, stepped out step by step. It's Mukin. Chapter 3. Gathering of Heroes. The controversy over the birthday banquet. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The eagle and bat raised their heads when they saw their young master. All of them couldn't help but be stunned. From the appearance, there is no difference between the young master in front of them and their impression. But his temperament is profound, like an abyss, making people feel a sense of fear from the bottom of their hearts. This momentum is completely different from the previous young master. Even they have only felt this kind of pressure on their own gang leader. The two of them don't understand why they haven't seen each other for a while, and the young master's temperament has changed so much. At this moment, Mu Chen saw the confusion of the eagle and bat. He had just broken through the realm and couldn't help but exude an aura, which he also understood. However, he is no longer an ordinary person who cannot cultivate. In the future, when he walks in the martial arts world, he will have to show his strength sooner or later, so he doesn't care. Just now, while the two of them were waiting outside, he took a shower, washed away the dirty blood on his body, changed into new clothes, and put on the Xianjin python dragon robe obtained by the system. This python dragon robe is a product of the cultivation world, with the effects of not invading water and fire, and not breaking swords. It can greatly absorb all damage and is considered an excellent self-defense robe. Mukin glanced at the two people kneeling below and asked. Today is my father's birthday banquet, and many people from the martial arts world are coming to celebrate. There is a mix of good and bad. Why haven't you two taken on the responsibility of guarding? This is indeed what he wants to ask. On weekdays, these two people were guarding Xiong Ba's side. Today, after breaking through the realm, their breath dissipated, but they quickly rushed over. This is clearly guarding the surroundings in secret, protecting one's own safety. And my father, Xiong Ba, was able to make this arrangement clearly because he felt that there might be some unexpected changes at today's birthday banquet, so he prepared in advance. Faced with Mu Chen's inquiry, Ma Ying and Bat exchanged a glance and then arched their hands, saying. To report to the young master, it was actually the guild leader who asked our two brothers to guard here. In recent years, our world has been expanding, but there are still several small sects who are not very interested and refuse to obey, and they have been secretly uncooperative. Recently, the guild leader heard that several sects are preparing to unite and fight against our Tianzhi association. Therefore, the guild leader is afraid that they will cause trouble during the birthday banquet and disturb the young master. Therefore, they have sent us two to guard this place and prevent others from entering. After listening to the two of them, Mu Chen felt a clear understanding in his heart. He also felt a warmth in his heart for the arrangement of the tyrant. Although Xiong Ba is ambitious in the original work, he has nothing to say about his own children. Immediately, he had the eagle and bat stand up, while he walked towards the outside of the courtyard. "Young master, are you?" The eagles and bats are not sure why. Mukin gave a faint sneer, and unconsciously, strands of terrifying coldness emanated from his body. Even the stone bricks under his feet were instantly covered in dense cracks. "Today is my father's birthday banquet. If there are any gangsters who want to cause trouble, then let them all have no return." The two of them behind him had not made any movement yet, only to see Mu Chen stepping on the ground with his toes. With a burst of true energy, his body was like a light swallow and disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. After a moment, the two of them, Ming and Bat, reacted and their expressions changed in shock. "Young master." The two of them exchanged a glance, unable to believe their own eyes. They just saw the young master use lightness skills. Isn't it true that the young master has been weak since childhood and unable to cultivate martial arts? And in that scene just now, it was obvious that the young master's body was full of true qi, completely effortless. How could it seem like he didn't know martial arts? The two were shocked and quickly used their lightness skills to keep up. When they stepped onto the courtyard wall, they saw Mu Chen's figure long gone. The lake surface around the small building in the center of the lake is calm and without any waves, with no shadows. In just such a short amount of effort, Mu Chen disappeared from sight, and his level of lightness skills was astonishing. "Ming! Young master!" The bat was extremely surprised. The Ming on the side also felt incredulous. It seems that the young master is not unable to cultivate martial arts, but deliberately hiding himself. This explanation is also the most reasonable, otherwise there is no way to explain what just happened. At this moment, the two of them realized that their backs were already wet. The sudden burst of killing intent from the young master just now made the two brothers sweat profusely, and their pores were emitting a chill. The eagle and bat exchanged a glance, their eyes filled with a strong sense of shock. The world will meet, the main hall. There are numerous Jianghu guests coming and going inside. Today's grand birthday banquet was attended by many well-known figures in the martial arts world. Among them, besides the leaders of the Songshan sect, such as Zhuolengshan, and the Huashan sect, such as Yubuchuan, there are prominent and upright individuals. There are also 4 recognized aristocratic families in the martial arts world, including the Gusu Murong family, the Tang family in central Sichuan, the Shangguan family, and the Nangong family, who will participate. Even among the visiting guests were the generals of the Northern Liang army from the Liang dynasty. Even the second-class martial artists from the martial arts world come from leaders or elders, with high status. It can be seen from this that this banquet can be described as grand. Sigh. The world will grow bigger and bigger, and almost everyone from black and white will attend the birthday banquet. Isn't that right? However, the strength of the Xiong Ba is indeed terrifying, there is no reason why someone won't sell him face. I have long heard that the Northern Liang army of the Liang dynasty had an extraordinary relationship with the Tianzhi society. Now, upon closer inspection, it is indeed not a rumor. TSK. Especially among the disciples accepted by Xiong Ba, Nie Feng and Bu Jingyun are now the leaders of the younger generation in the martial arts world, and their future achievements will definitely not be low. That's reasonable, but I heard that Xiong Ba only has one daughter under his command. No matter how big this grand hegemony may be, it may only be passed on to others in the end. The martial arts figures present whispered to each other. Gathering so many martial arts figures, it is rare to have such a powerful summoning power in the entire martial arts world. At this moment, in the crowd of the Huashan sect, a young man with a rather carefree and unrestrained temperament looked at the people around him, while secretly taking a sip from the wine jug on his waist. The leader Yubuchuan glanced at him and frowned, saying, "Chonger, with so many martial arts colleagues present, don't just be greedy for food and maintain the image of a senior brother of the Huashan sect." What Yubuchuan is talking about is the current senior brother of the Huashan sect, Ling Huchong. Got it, master. Ling Hu Chong quickly put away the wine jug in frustration and asked in confusion. Master, our Huashan sect is a prestigious and righteous sect. It seems that the reputation of the sect in the martial arts world is not very good. Will it fall on people's tongues if we attend the Xiong Ba's birthday banquet? After listening, Yu Buchuan pondered for a while and replied. Indeed, the growth rate of the World Association has caused some unease among righteous colleagues. In fact, my teacher's visit this time is also an invitation from some righteous colleagues to persuade the powerful to stop further expansion. I understand, Master. Ling Hu Chong quickly believed this statement. After all, his master was a famous gentleman's sword in the martial arts world, which was very in line with his master's character. Yu Buchuan smiled slightly, and after his disciple believed this, he didn't say much. But what Ling Hu Chong didn't know was that Yu Buchuan came here just to follow the footsteps of the left cold Zen of the Song Mountain sect. Because he secretly learned that Zhuo Lingshan wanted to find a powerful collaborator and use the Tianxia Association to merge the five sacred swords sect and occupy the position of the alliance leader. So he wants to take a look together. It would be even better if we could prevent cooperation between both parties. Chapter 4. No Twin Cities. Fengyun Frost. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As more and more people enter the main hall. Quickly, several piercing sounds sounded. With everyone's dazzling effort, 3 more figures had already appeared in the main hall. Thank you all for attending the family teacher's birthday banquet. Today is a great day, and I would like to invite you all to have a few more drinks later. The person leading the conversation was a refined-looking man in black, who slightly arched his hand and had a kind and appropriate smile. Behind him, on the left was a young man with a cold and stern appearance, exuding a strong aura that was reserved for strangers. On the right is a young man with delicate facial features, whose breath is elusive and uncertain. He holds a folding fan like a graceful young master. The appearance of these 3 people made many martial arts practitioners present dare not neglect them. Because these 3 people are Qin Shuang, the leader of Tianshuang Hall, Bu Jingyun, the leader of Feiyun Hall, and Nye Feng, the leader of Shenfeng Hall. Oh my goodness! Are these the 3 masters of the Tianxia society? How young! Let me tell you, although young, we should not underestimate them, especially the 2 of Feng and Yun. Their combat power is particularly terrifying. Nye Feng once went deep into Wushuang city alone, killing the city lord Dugu's side, while Bu Jingyun even single-handedly took on Lianqing village. There were over 300 people in the entire village, and no one survived. Crouching slot. Then there will be these 2 people in the world, wouldn't it be like adding wings to a tiger? It seems that the world will now have a trend of being promoted to the top gang in the world. Isn't that right? Let's not see how the people who come today are all famous figures in the martial arts world. If it weren't for the great power of the world and the ordinary small sects, how could they get into the eyes of these big shots? Everyone in the room was secretly amazed. I think the strength of the Tianxia Guild is amazing, and Feng and Yun are the leading figures of the younger generation in the martial arts world. It's really extraordinary. In the crowd, located in the camp of the Murong family, a group of people are also silently paying attention to the Feng and Yun in the main hall. The leader was a man dressed in elegant attire, followed by a group of servants. This has attracted frequent attention from the surrounding martial arts community. Many people recognize that the luxurious man in charge is the famous Gu Su Murong Fu in the martial arts world. Of course, besides marveling at the identity of the Murong family, there is also one key point that everyone focuses on. That is a young girl standing beside Murong Fu. The girl wore a white gauze dress, and at a young age, her appearance was already stunning. Her skin was like snow, her slender figure, long hair draped over her shoulders, and her temperament exuded a sacred and inviolable beauty, like a fairy. This made many people present feel uneasy, but they were afraid to look at the power of the Murong family and could only secretly take a few glances from time to time. Wang Yuyan's eyes were fixed on her, clearly not accustomed to participating in such grand occasions. If it weren't for her cousin's sake, she would never have left Mandala Villa and entered this extremely dangerous world. At this moment, her body was timid, and her delicate figure seemed more likely to arouse a desire for protection. However, Murong Fu on the side seemed to have never heard of it, and his eyes were only filled with the desire for ambition. Young master, the world will be so powerful that he may not be willing to cooperate with us. At this moment, Bao Butong, a retainer behind Murong Fu, spoke up. The Murong family is a descendant of the royal family of the state of Dian, and their ancestors were once very glorious. Later, the dynasties were replaced, and the Yen state was destroyed. From then on, the Murong family declined and struggled to survive within the territory of the Song dynasty, but unfortunately became a martial arts family. Despite relying on the influence of their ancestors, the Murong family has now become one of the 4 recognized aristocratic families in the martial arts world. But how can this martial arts family compare to a dynasty that controls the life and death of all its people? So, the generation of Murong Fu constantly wants to combine with the old faction and achieve the dream of restoring the country. This time attending the birthday banquet of the Xiong, Murong Fu mainly wanted to leverage the power of the current Tianzhi to stir up the world and cause chaos, so as to seize the opportunity to rebel and seize political power. But Murong Fu himself also knew that it was very difficult for the world to agree to step into this muddy water. However, he still wants to give it a try. Upon hearing Bao Butong's words, he remained silent for a moment, with an unquestionable attitude in his tone. I need the support of the tyrant no matter what. Even if he doesn't agree in the end, if I can get the 2 of them, it will definitely make me more powerful. For this, I am willing to do anything at all costs. The young master is thoughtful, and I admire him. Bao Butong nodded. He also agreed with Murong Fu's idea. Even if he couldn't get the support of the powerful tyrant, the second best thing was that Feng and Yun were rare martial arts talents in a century. If we can promise enough benefits to persuade them to join the Murong family, then the forces in the martial arts world that threaten them will be much less. The world will host a grand birthday banquet this time, and in fact, all forces have been secretly cautious. But the martial arts world is like this, where there are people, there is the martial arts world. The power of the World Association is immense, and there are countless people seeking cooperation. Just as many guests gathered in the hall, chatting happily, suddenly a series of footsteps rang out outside the main hall, with faint cries of killing and a fierce momentum. Everyone present was surprised and thought to themselves, today is a grand birthday banquet for a tyrant. Who dares to venture into the world meeting? In no time, a large group of people quickly entered the entrance of the main hall. The leader of the group was dressed in hemp filial piety, and the leader was a young man. As soon as he entered the hall, he shouted loudly. Xiong Ba. You come out for me. I have no twin cities, Dugu Ming. I want to settle accounts with you today. And Nie Feng, if you kill my father, I will take your life to pay for it. Many martial arts practitioners were shocked when they heard about this person's identity. Wuxuang City was created by the sword sage Dugu Jian, who once dominated the martial arts world. Later, the sword sage retired and gave up his position as the master of Wuxuang City to his younger brother Dugu Fan. Of course, since then, the sword saint has never appeared in front of the world. 30 years have passed, and all the people in the martial arts world believe that the sword saint may have passed away. However, although Dugu's martial arts talent is not as outstanding as his brother's, his leadership ability is not poor. Although the world is no longer known as the Twin Cities in its heyday, it can still be considered as well-governed and has a strong reputation in the martial arts world. However, not long ago, the world sent the God Wind Hall Lord Nie Feng to secretly break into Wuxuang City and kill the city lord Dugu's side, causing a sensation in the martial arts world. Now, I didn't expect that the other party would come to seek revenge during the Xiong Ba birthday banquet. At this moment, everyone's gaze couldn't help but gather on Nie Feng, the head of the Divine Wind Hall in the main hall. Dugu Ming is the son of Dugu Fang, the lord of Wushuang city, and Nie Feng, the enemy who killed his father, is afraid of a fierce battle between the two of them. Nie Feng, who was in front of everyone's eyes, furrowed his brows slightly and stood in his position without retreating. He looked completely fearless of Dugu Ming's threat. Dugu Ming saw the enemy who had killed his father and his eyes were red. He shouted angrily. Nie Feng, I will take your life today. After speaking, his figure moved and he stepped onto the ground, soaring into the air. His momentum surged, and his true energy moved under his feet. As he danced, there was a sound of dragons singing. Immediately after, he kicked towards Nie Feng with one leg, and there was a loud explosion in the air. This kick was powerful and heavy, as if it had the power of breaking gold and stones. Chapter 5. Wind God Legs vs. Dragon Subduing God Legs. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the main hall. Everyone was amazed by the momentum of this leg technique. Originally, everyone thought that Dugu Ming was not well known, but they didn't expect him to be so skilled in his leg skills. At the same time, his whole body was full of true qi, clearly having set foot in the innate realm for many years. If you want to become famous in the martial arts world, you don't have to rely on the reputation of having no twin cities, you must also be a young and talented character. At this moment, the position of the Murong family in the crowd. Murong Fu narrowed his eyes and saw Dugu Ming's leg technique. He calmly asked the girl beside him. Cousin, what martial arts does Dugu Ming use? Why do I feel a bit familiar with it? And the martial arts figures next to them all expressed doubts upon hearing these words. It is rumored that Murong Fu has excellent martial arts skills and is on par with the leader of the beggars sect, Xiao Feng. Why would he ask the delicate woman beside him? Everyone was quite puzzled. At the next moment, Wang Yuyan only glanced at it for the first time and said. Cousin, this leg technique is adapted from the beggars sect's 18 dragon subduing palms. It was rumored that the Wushuangqing sword saint and the northern beggar Hong Qigong, one of the 5 wonders of the Jianghu, had a small win of half a chip and won the remaining chapter of the 18 dragon subduing palms. Later, it was changed to several dragon subduing leg techniques. It seems that Dugu Ming is using the same technique as the dragon subduing leg technique, which is called the blue dragon coming out of the hole. This move is powerful, with a fierce attack that can seize the opportunity. However, unfortunately, this move looks grand and powerful, but it is all powerful in one move. If you cannot seize the first move, the subsequent moves will be subject to others. Wang Yuyan's voice was soft and sticky, like the clear water babbling in a stream, but none of the martial arts people present were ordinary people. They had strong internal strength and were all intelligent and discerning. This Wang Yuyan's words are like thunder piercing through their ears. Everyone was surprised. Everyone looked at the stunning young girl next to Murong Fu, their eyes filled with astonishment. They didn't expect that this girl not only could tell everyone else's martial arts moves, but also the secrets, and even her weaknesses were clear. So having this young woman would be like having an additional dictionary of martial arts. Even some unscrupulous individuals in the crowd have a vague idea of holding this woman hostage and helping to improve their martial arts skills. However, when they thought about the prestige of the Murong family, their heads couldn't help but calm down. One of these 4 great aristocratic families is not easy to deal with. If they want to steal someone, they also need to weigh their own weight. And the leaders and disciples of other martial arts sects also looked at Wang Yuyan in surprise. I thought to myself that there is such a strange woman in this Murong family. Despite that, as soon as Dugu Ming used his moves, he was recognized and revealed by others. At this moment it was too late to change his moves, so he could only glare in anger at the direction of the Murong family and continue to attack Nie Feng. And Nie Feng was not a fool either. Upon learning of the weakness of Dugu Ming's dragon subduing leg technique in front of him, he immediately floated his body and lightly stepped on it, lifting himself up like riding the wind, exuding an extremely graceful demeanor. Numerous martial arts practitioners were amazed by Nie Feng's body movements with open eyes. He truly deserves to be the famous leader of the Divine Wind Hall in the martial arts world, with excellent lightness skills and body techniques. Immediately after, when Nie Feng faced Dugu Ming's vigorous leg movements, his body not only did not avoid it, but also his true energy flowed to his legs, suddenly kicking him out at a faster speed. In an instant, a strong wind howled in the field, like a knife, causing pain on the face. Those who were close had to activate their internal power to resist, and at the same time, they were greatly surprised by Nie Feng's strength. Wang Yuyan smiled and said, "Master Nie used this move of swift and decisive to counter strong attacks and seize the opportunity to seize speed. Dugu Ming seems to be losing." Sure enough, as soon as Wang Yuyan finished speaking, Dugu Ming, who was in the center of the strong wind, was directly defeated by Nie Feng in his leg movements. Without any prior opportunity in his moves, he was kicked in the chest, spitting blood out of his mouth and flying backwards. At this moment, the martial arts crowd present didn't even have time to marvel at Nie Feng's strength, but instead turned their gaze to the young girl from the Murong family. No one could have imagined that there were people in the martial arts world who could see through the world's moves, and it seemed that they had not yet practiced martial arts. This is simply unbelievable. Even everyone could see that although there was a gap between Dugu Ming and Nie Feng, if it weren't for this girl revealing the weakness of the dragon subduing leg technique in advance. Nie Feng may need to use a few more moves to win, but he won't win so easily. In the Huashan sect camp, the leader Yu Buchuan has a deep mind and cannot see what he is thinking. And Linghu Chong behind him looked at Wang Yuyan with stunning eyes. He didn't think as much as other martial artists did. He was only amazed by Wang Yuyan's beauty, and even his junior sister was inferior. The other young disciples of Huashan, not to mention those who have long been fascinated by the 5 mysteries and 3 paths. After Dugu Ming's defeat, Qin Shuang in the main hall scolded. "Dugu Ming, get out of here with your people. It's not even your turn to act wild in the world." Nie Feng didn't say anything, just arched his hand slightly towards Wang Yuyan outside the field, expressing gratitude. However, he was very surprised in his heart. Even the techniques taught to him by the powerful warrior, the wind god legs, were recognized by the stunning girl in front of him at a glance, which was hard to believe. Upon seeing this, Murong Fu also secretly smiled. Building a good relationship with Feng and Yun was originally part of the plan. Let Wang Yuyan showcase her powerful martial arts insights, adding a mysterious touch to everyone's impression of the Murong family. The implementation of the win-over plan now gives us some more confidence. At the same time, the disciple of Wu Shuangqing stepped forward and helped Dugu Ming up. At this moment, his mouth was bleeding and he suffered a severe internal injury. But what made him even more angry was that he was defeated so decisively. At this moment, a few faint words came from the crowd behind Dugu Ming. "Our brothers originally thought that the Murong aristocratic family was a prestigious family, but at least they had a general understanding. Nowadays, the world is full of ambition and wants to annex major sects to grow stronger. Everyone should be punished for it. If young Master Murong doesn't want to assist Zhou in his tyranny, don't let the girl next to you speak up again later, otherwise you will be blinded by swords and swords later, so as not to damage your harmony." These few words contain powerful internal forces, causing the air around the main hall to buzz. People haven't appeared yet, but they have already taken the lead. And surprisingly, he directly said to Murong Fu not to interfere, otherwise the sword would have no eyes, and the entire martial arts world would dare to say this, countless of them can be counted. Quickly, the crowd separated on both sides, and only 4 people were seen standing out. These 4 people are old and middle-aged, but their eyes are all full of red courage. Just now, the voice reported that several people were brothers, and there were only a few in the martial arts world with this characteristic. So the identity can also be roughly guessed. Murong Fu looked at the few people, his eyes narrowed slightly, and said calmly. I don't know which column of the rumored South Four Wonders and North Four Monsters are among them. After hearing a little from Murong Fu, everyone present immediately remembered several characters with similar characteristics to these four people. Both the Southern Four Wonders and the Northern Four Monsters are renowned heroes in the martial arts world. They are known for their chivalry, specifically speaking out for the weak, and their martial arts are not weak, all reaching the position of great masters. Moreover, even a martial arts expert who is one level higher than them cannot claim to be able to win with the four of them together. So over time, a few people also gained great fame in the martial arts world. The elderly leader, holding a 9-ring tiger head sword, stood tall in the center of the hall and said calmly, "Our brothers are like the four wonders of the south, falling flowers and flowing water." Chapter 6. Those who follow me prosper, those who oppose me perish. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The four wonders of the south are falling flowers and flowing water. This kind of reputation is enough to scare off many petty criminals in ordinary times. After all, these few people are rare masters in the martial arts world. Moreover, the four of them are known for their chivalry, and people in the martial arts world will not idle and offend them. And they were actually willing to stand out for Wuhuang's city today, which instantly made the situation on the field confusing. After all, he is a renowned master who has been famous for a long time. With the joint efforts of four people, the World Association may not really gain any benefits. Above the main hall, Xiong, who was responsible for maintaining the order of the birthday banquet, frowned slightly when he saw the four people. He arched his hand slightly and said, "These four great heroes, it seems that our world has not offended a few places, why bother to stand out? Today is a great day for my master's birthday banquet. If you are willing to put down your swords and weapons, our whole world will definitely treat you with respect." Qin Shuang's few words were also impeccable, allowing everyone to see the pattern of the heavenly frost hall master. At least on the surface, he did not offend these people to death. There is still room for maneuver in this matter. The rules in the martial arts world are that if it's not for the grudge of life and death, there's no need to offend a person at the level of a master. Moreover, the image of the Southern Four Wonders is not bad in the hearts of many righteous martial arts practitioners. There is really no need to form a grudge. Ha ha ha, it's a joke. Our brothers still disdain to be in the same league as you guys. At this moment, one of the four people, holding a pair of guns, stood up and said, looking both virtuous and skilled. The crowd also recognized this person from his weapons, who was the leader of the Eagle Claw Iron Spear sect and the old master Hua Taigan, who was known as invincible in Zhongping. At the same time, he is also the second-ranked character among the Four Wonders of the South. Lu Tianshu, who ranks second only to the leaders, Reni de Gao. But to everyone's surprise, the words spoken by Hua Taigan at this moment did not give the world any face. In theory, the world will have a huge power, with powerful martial arts experts sitting on top of it. Why is this Nansiki with a never-ending attitude? Surprisingly, he shamed the Tianzhi Association in public. Hua Taigan continued to snort coldly, "Your world will be full of evil. Today, besides helping Wuhuang City regain justice, our four brothers have also responded to the requests of other sect leaders to declare war on your world." As the words fell, several people with strong breath stood behind them, clearly all of whom were innate peak experts. Qin Shuang saw a few people behind Hua Taigan and instantly understood everything. Because these people have always been unwilling to join the sect leaders of their Tianzhi Association, I didn't expect these sects to unite today and cause trouble in the world. Everyone in the room witnessed the situation. I also understand why these Southern Four Wonders struggle to please the world. Originally, a group of sect leaders were gathered, but now relying on their gathering power, they want to compete with the World Association. Qin Shuang looked at the several leaders behind Hua Taigan and said coldly, "You all have figured it out. Are you really going to be enemies with our world? We just don't agree with the World Association. We have already discussed and honored the 4 senior heroes of Falling Flowers and Flowing Water as the alliance leaders to uphold justice for us. Yes. That's right, there are 4 senior colleagues here. What can you do for me? Why would your family dominate in the world? Isn't it not that you don't take us seriously? A few sect leaders are proud of their achievements. With the support of 4 master-level figures, they speak without hesitation. Dugu Ming has now regained his blood color through the use of martial arts and recuperation. He saw that his side was now as imposing as a rainbow, and his confidence was also a bit full in his heart. The disappointment just now swept away, and he continued to speak angrily. Hurry up and call the Xiong out. We have no twin cities to fight against him endlessly. As soon as he spoke, a low shout came from the void. Bold. The 2 simple words seemed to contain supreme internal power. It made Dugu Ming's heart tremble, and the movement of his true qi was delayed for a while. Everyone in the room was shocked when they heard this sound. Even the once proud Nan Siki's face became slightly solemn. Judging solely from the internal power emanating from this voice, their strength is already above them. And the whole world will be able to suppress the 4 of them, only one person. After a moment, a person slowly walked out of the side hall. He was dressed in a bright yellow brocade robe, with a towering figure and an indelible domineering aura between his eyebrows and eyes. His temperament was as deep as a mountain. He walked slowly, scanning the crowd all the way, but no one dared to confront them. He didn't stop until he was in front of the throne symbolizing the leader of the World Association. Even just standing in the main hall gives a strong sense of suffocation. It seems that the life and death of all beings are under his control, and he is unparalleled in dominance. This person is not someone else. It is the world's guild leader with the strongest rise in the land of Kyushu today, Xiong. Countless martial artists couldn't help but bow their heads slightly. At this moment, there was a rare silence in the field for a while. Today is the day for my hero to hold a birthday banquet. No matter what grudges or grievances may arise in the martial arts world, we cannot disturb today's wine party. The bully's voice was low and he spoke faintly. After speaking, he glanced at the several masters who had spoken before. Upon being looked at by the powerful tyrant, the few people who had previously boasted secretly swallowed their saliva. Vajra Gate, Arbitrary Hall, Snow Mountain Sword Sect, and Chinzhou Yen family, are you all taking advantage of my birthday banquet today to stir up trouble? Aren't you considering me as a powerful leader? Upon hearing these words, the several leaders looked nervous and didn't know how to speak for a moment. The leading Nan Siki and a few others saw this and cursed to themselves as useless. However, this matter was initiated by them, so they must also step forward at this moment. Led by Lu Tianshu, he said. Xiong gang leader, we are here today to demand an explanation. Your world will expand endlessly, and for this reason, we have plotted against the leader of Wushuang City, Dugu's side, and taken away the precious Wushuang sword from Wushuang City. As righteous martial arts practitioners, we must seek justice from you. The mighty tyrant standing in front of the main hall laughed heartily upon hearing these words and said. Although my guild in the world may not have as long a history as Wudang and Shaolin, I believe no one dares to deny that our guild has already gained the position of leading the masses. Please forgive me for my arrogance. Anyone who dares to block my world meeting will be killed without mercy. Dugu's side deserves even more death. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone present felt a tremor in their bodies. A tyrant is truly a tyrant, with unparalleled dominance in his words. I don't care at all about the opinions of others in the world. This statement blocked all of Lu Tianshu's words and made it impossible to speak. The tyrant completely disregarded common sense and disrupted their plans. They originally intended to rely on the moral principles of the martial arts world to force the powerful tyrant to cede a portion of their power to them. But now to save face, there is no other way but for his subordinates to seize Xinjiang. The four of them exchanged a glance at each other, and the eldest, Lu Tianshu, said. So our four brothers, representing the righteous path of the martial arts world, will learn together the powerful leader's ultimate moves. Xiong Ba was not afraid at all and snorted coldly, I want to see what skills you have. As soon as everyone saw that the big war was about to break out, they all gave way to the venue. Grandmasters' battles are not very common. Although Xiong Ba has excellent martial arts skills, with one enemy and four opponents, it is unknown who will ultimately win. Joke, a group of greedy people who live in a trap of flies and dogs, pretending to use the name of the righteous path to replace me, the world will. In vain, just as a great war was about to break out between the two sides, a young voice suddenly sounded outside the main hall, causing a brief silence in the field. When everyone regained their senses, they were all in an uproar. Everyone could tell that these words were aimed at the four wonders of the South. Who dares to directly curse the four masters as petty and petty? This can be considered as a direct face-to-face slap. Quickly, everyone saw a young man wearing a black and gold python dragon robe outside the main hall. His demeanor was like a deep abyss, like a divine dragon that had just awakened from sleep. This person is Mu Chen. Those who follow me prosper, those who oppose me perish. If you do not submit to the people of my world, there is only one way to die. Mukin's face was calm, but his words showed a very domineering tone. Find some data. Thank you all. Chapter 7. Kneel down and submit. Or die. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Inside the main hall. Hundreds of martial arts practitioners in the martial arts world changed their faces in shock. At this critical moment, there is someone who dares to speak up, and he is also a handsome and dignified young man. While everyone was surprised, they couldn't help but suspect. Who is this young man in front of me? Among the younger generation in the world, apart from having a prominent reputation, we have not yet heard of anyone else's name. At this moment, even Nie Feng and Bu Jingyun couldn't help but have some doubts. They grew up in Tianzhi, but they never met Mukin. At the same time, the four of them also turned around and glared angrily at Mu Chen. Who are you, kid? You dare to speak rudely. Hua Taigan squinted his eyes and pointed his long spear at Mu Chen, with a posture of ready to take action if he didn't agree. The other martial artists did not act recklessly, and at the same time, they were all speculating about Mu Chen's identity. Few people in this world dare to insult their master in person at such an age. You should know that the master cannot be humiliated. In the eyes of everyone, the young man in front of us is completely a newborn calf who is not afraid of tigers, and knows nothing about heaven and earth. Any one of these four masters would be enough for him to die without a burial ground. Mukin paid no attention to Hua Taigan because in his eyes, these people were already dead. Next, he arched his hand towards the dominant figure in the main hall and said, Father, the child comes to pay his respects. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire hall erupted in an instant. Sigh. This young man is actually the heir of a tyrant. No wonder his words and actions are lawless. Strange. There's a rumor in the martial arts world that there's only one woman among the heroes, isn't there? There's actually a son. This is truly a shocking secret in the martial arts world. Everyone present was extremely surprised. No one expected that the identity of the young man in front of him would be that of the son of a tyrant. Especially Nie Feng and Bu Jingyun in the main hall were extremely surprised. They both looked at each other and could feel each other's shock. Originally, after so many years of risking life and death for the world, seizing territory, and being promoted to the position of hall leader, they all thought that the tyrant had let go of his guard against them. Unexpectedly, the Xiong Ba still had such a deep secret hidden. Chener. At this moment, even the moment Xiong Ba saw Mu Chen, his heart was greatly shaken. He has been hiding Mukin's identity for so many years because he wants to protect him. After all, Mukin is unable to cultivate martial arts and is too easily targeted by enemies from all over the world. At the same time, Du Guming suddenly burst out in the crowd and headed towards Mu Chen outside the hall. Ha, heaven helps me too. Xiong Ba, today I want you to taste the pain of losing loved ones too. At the moment he heard that Mu Chen was the son of a powerful tyrant, Du Guming felt like the heavens were helping him. As long as we can capture the young man in front of us, we are not afraid of the tyrant's unwillingness to surrender. At that time, even if the powerful martial arts are unparalleled, it will not be left to him to control. So, everyone saw Du Guming burst out with true qi all over his body, reaching out to grab Mu Chen at an extremely fast speed. At this moment, everyone only heard the majestic ruler in the main hall shout angrily, "How dare you stand up?" In an instant, the air suddenly shook. Everyone felt their necks being restrained, and at the same time, a wave of pressure from heaven and earth descended. Many martial artists present involuntarily suppressed their bodies. The first to bear the brunt were the four people from the South Four Wonders, Falling Flowers and Flowing Water. They were all half-kneeled under pressure, and it was only with the joint efforts of the four that they barely resisted. What? No one expected that the majestic power of the tyrant would be so terrifying. Xiong Ba has not made any moves in the martial arts world for many years, and most martial arts people in the world believe that his strength is stagnant. But at this moment, everyone understands. Xiong Ba has long surpassed his martial arts skills when he became famous in the martial arts world, and this oppressive force is simply unprecedented. The four of them, Falling Flowers and Flowing Water, also had a big change in their faces. Even if they worked together, it would probably be difficult for them to sustain this strength for long. At this moment, they are all regretful. If they had known they wouldn't have come wading in this muddy water. Du Guming, catch the son of the powerful tyrant quickly, otherwise we will all die here. Among the four, Hua Taigan quickly shouted out loud. Now only by catching the young man and taking advantage of the powerful tyrant's caution, can they have a glimmer of hope. Du Guming was also startled. At the same time, he also understood the key points, so he gritted his head and resisted the pressure of the tyrant, trying to catch Mu Chen. But when his hand just touched Mu Chen's shoulder, he suddenly saw Mu Chen still calm and composed in front of him. Even the eyes that looked at him seemed to be looking at a dead person. This kind of gaze immediately made Du Guming furious. "Kid, I'll cut off one of your hands first. See how arrogant you are." However, just as he was about to take action, a powerful internal force suddenly emanated from Mu Chen's shoulder. Like a tsunami, sweeping in the opposite direction. How could it be? Before Du Guming could react, his arm suddenly expanded and exploded into powder with a loud bang. Ah! My hands! A scream echoed through the hall. Du Guming's mournful cry instantly caught everyone's attention. When they saw Du Guming's miserable situation, they couldn't help but dilate their pupils. Du Guming's strength is evident to everyone present, at least at the peak of the innate realm. Only one step away from the Grandmaster realm. It can already be considered one of the few young talents in the martial arts world. But now I see Du Guming sweating profusely, clutching his bloody severed arm and constantly retreating in agony, and then I see Mu Chen at the entrance of the main hall with a calm and composed expression, making a high judgment. This time, not only the martial artists present, but also the powerful master in the main hall was stunned. Immediately after, he looked excited and asked, "Chenner, your skill?" Mukin replied, "Father, the child has obtained a chance, and his martial arts have now reached the level of a master." Upon hearing these words, the tyrant opened his hands and burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha! My mighty son is indeed blessed by heaven, and God bless me, my mighty." At this moment, the others were equally shocked. Grandmaster. At such an age, one has already reached the level of a master. I'm not joking. At this moment, Mukin was staring at the numerous disciples of Wu Shuangqing in the main hall, as well as Nansiki and others. He said in a faint tone, "Kneel down and submit, otherwise you will die." At the same time, the falling flowers and flowing water in the main hall have made 4 people feel uneasy. The strength that the tyrant just showed off unintentionally has already made them realize that his strength cannot be underestimated. If they continue to fight hard, the 4 brothers will be more or less unlucky. So the 4 of them exchanged glances. Subsequently, taking advantage of the crowd's distraction, several people began to use their lightness skills, wanting to leave the World Assembly first before speaking. At the entrance of the main hall, only Mu Chen was present. "Kill this kid first." The Renyi de Dao, Lu Tianshu's eyes were filled with a murderous intent. Even if this kid in front of him reaches the Grandmaster realm, how could he be a match for their 4 brothers? The 4 of them have entered the mortal realm of Vajra for many years, and they cooperate closely with each other. Isn't it easy to deal with a young man who has just entered the realm of a master? This sudden change caught everyone present off guard. Because no one expected that the 4 heroes, rumored to be known for their chivalry, would simply flee. And their goal is Mukin at the entrance of the main hall. In order to consider the integration of many martial arts worlds, the strength and realm of various characters have been adjusted, allowing each character to demonstrate their strength and realm that match their reputation. Chapter 8. The Prisoner of the Great Wilderness, Heavenly Finger. One finger imprisons heaven and earth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Something happened suddenly. Everyone's reaction slowed down by a beat. Dare to harm my son, it is necessary for the 4 of you and your whole family to be buried together. The tyrant was instantly enraged, with a burst of vitality condensed in his palm, and rushed straight towards the 4 of them. This palm has amazing power. The disciples of Wushuang City, who were originally gathered together, were directly bombarded with this vitality, causing blood and flesh to fly everywhere. And after penetrating several people's bodies, the castration did not decrease, and it directly struck the 4 falling flowers and flowing water. "Big brother. I'll block it." The third of the 4, Lu Qingfeng, who was known as the Soft Cloud Sword, stood up and directly resisted the powerful opponent's 3-point return to vitality. Lu Qingfeng is the one with the deepest internal strength among the 4. And he has also learned the Tai Chi technique, which is rumored to have been created by Zhang Sanfeng, the founder of the Wudang sect. Although ranked 3rd, in terms of strength, it is not inferior to the leader Lu Tianshu. But after he exerted all his strength to contact the powerful warrior's 3-point return energy, he also shook his whole body and spat out blood. This frightened the other 3 even more. Lu Qingfeng was shot and spat out blood with just one move. Clearly suffering from serious internal injuries. The strength of this tyrant is truly terrifying. It makes them feel even more unable to compete hard. The shameless kid, come and die. Boss Lu Tianshu directly swung his sword towards Mu Chen, and the massive sword energy condensed from top to bottom, with an astonishing momentum. It seems like we're going to split Mu Chen in half. With this blow, Lu Tianshu exerted all his strength, intending to directly kill the young man in front of him and then flee immediately. Many martial artists in the main hall were amazed. Although the 4 famous heroes of the Southern 4 Wonders teamed up to deal with a young man, they were not very good at martial arts. But with just Lu Tianshu's sword, the power of the Grandmaster's realm is evident. Completely incomparable to the innate realm. At this moment, everyone believes that Mukin should be more or less unlucky. In the crowd, a clever voice suddenly sounded. "Young master, this sword is a move from the Overlord sword called Creating Heaven and Earth. It is powerful and heavy, and cannot be fought hard. You need to use the Catching the Wind and Shadow technique from the Wind God's Leg technique to avoid it." Upon hearing this, everyone immediately realized that it was the stunning young girl from the Murong family who gave advice. Upon hearing the Renyi de Dao, Lu Tianshu felt extremely angry and corrupted. It should be noted that the struggle between masters of the same level is already very difficult to determine the winner. He had originally planned to take advantage of the situation and cut off the son of this powerful tyrant with a bold axe. However, at this moment, one's own move has been revealed. If the other party is willing to dodge and misses the opportunity, it will be difficult to escape today. After all, there is another bully lurking behind, delaying for a second is enough to be fatal. However, to everyone's surprise, Mukin, standing at the entrance of the palace, seemed stunned and remained motionless in place. Staring straight at Lu Tianshu and Pang Rant's sword aura about to strike his head. Haha. So it's just a waste with no Grandmaster's internal power. The remaining three of them, Hua Taigan, burst into laughter upon seeing the situation. The scene in front of him was completely as if Mu Chen was stunned by this knife. Reni de Dao, Lu Tianshu couldn't help but feel delighted. It's really heaven's help for their brothers. They thought it was a dead-end situation, but now they have renewed hope. But the next second, when he met Mu Chen's eyes, he suddenly felt a shock in his heart. What kind of eyes are those? As if enveloping oneself in a desolate region, everything in heaven and earth disappears. Then, he saw Mu Chen gently lift a finger. At the same time, I heard the other person say a faint sentence. The great wilderness prisoner's heavenly finger. One finger prisoner's heaven and earth. Boom boom. A ripple rises in the main hall. The spiritual energy between heaven and earth quickly converged between Mukin's fingers. Immediately afterwards, a powerful and domineering pressure swept across the hall. Buzz. 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 Suddenly, with Mu Chen's guidance, the surrounding air seemed to form a strong pressure, rolling towards the landing Tianshu. At this moment, Lu Tianshu felt a sense of death enveloping him. This scared him so much that he turned pale. He wanted to escape, but found himself completely unable to move. This. How could this be? Lu Tianshu was startled. Faced with this terrifying finger, he even instantly shattered the aura of Pangran's sword in his hand, making it vulnerable to a single blow. No. He let out a loud roar, and then his whole body was crushed into powder, turning into a mist of blood. However, this blood mist seemed to have also been imprisoned and remained in mid-air. This scene frightened everyone present to the core. The benevolent and righteous sword of the Grandmaster realm, Lu Tianshu, surprisingly failed to resist even this young man's move and directly wiped it out. This sudden reversal caught everyone off guard. Especially with just one finger, everyone present felt the breath of death. What a terrifying force this is. It is pointed out that the entire space is confined. Any living creature is under this finger, its vitality is extinct. In an instant, the four wonders of the south fell and flowed, causing one death and one injury to the four people. Only Hua Taigan and Shui Dai have the power to fight. But at this moment, both of them had already been scared silly. I thought that just being a tyrant would leave them with no way out. However, I didn't expect the young man in front of me to be equally terrifying. Even their strongest elder brother, Lu Tianshu, died tragically on the spot. What kind of martial arts is this? Hush. The son of the tyrant, his strength is simply too terrifying. Is the power of this finger something that ordinary people can still achieve? Everyone was amazed and felt their scalp tingling. The scene just now is deeply engraved in everyone's minds. As the initiator, Mu Chen is even more terrifying than a tyrant in the hearts of many martial arts practitioners. After all, having such strength at such a young age, given time, it would be difficult for the martial arts world to find opponents. At the same time, Morong Fu's face in the crowd had already lost its focus. I can't calm down for a long time. He never expected that there would be such terrifying martial arts in the world. The just finger, even if the target is not him, just the breath makes him feel difficult to breathe. Young master. Young master. It wasn't until Bao Dongdong shouted several times and Murong Fukan finally came to his senses. "Cousin, what kind of martial arts did he use just now?" Murong Fu quickly asked Wang Yuyan beside him, hoping to get an answer. And Wang Yuyan shook her head slightly and said, "The martial arts used by this person are not recorded in the Langhuan Jade Cave, and I am not aware of them either." Murong Fu lost his composure for a moment and let out a soft breath. He looked at Mukun and felt a great shock in his heart. Even if he is as arrogant as himself, he has to admit that he may not be able to cope with that finger just now. Chapter 9. There are exceptions to going against the heavens, but going against them is lifeless. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Big Brother. Hua Taigan turned pale in shock and his face turned pale. The scene in front of me is completely different from what I imagined. How spirited their brothers were when they arrived. With 100 responses, more than 10 sects rose up. I want to share the territory of the world together. But in just a few rounds, their brothers died and were injured. And in front of him, the tragic death of his elder brother Lu Tianshu made him even more shocked. Demons! Demons! Hua Taigan pointed at Mu Chen and tiptoed back little by little. Second brother. This kid just used a move, which will definitely consume a lot. Now, the two of us should take the opportunity to rush out. Lao Si Shui Dai noticed that his second brother's expression was not right, and quickly urged him. Upon hearing fourth brother's words, Hua Taigan hesitated for a moment before nodding. Now, both vertically and horizontally, it's better to take a fight. Let's take action together. Shui Dai understood that the opportunity was not to be missed, and after speaking, he held his sword and went to kill Mu Chen. Hua Taigan hesitated for a moment, slowed down a beat, and then quickly attacked with his fourth brother. Even with such strength, dare to challenge my world club. Mukun looked at the two of them taking action with a disdainful expression. Just now, he used the great wilderness prisoner's heavenly finger. Although it cost a lot, he did not exert all his strength. The destructive power caused is already extraordinary. Undoubtedly, it is a product of the fantasy world. However, he could feel that the power of the great wilderness prisoner's heavenly finger was far more than that. Perhaps due to his true chi attribute, he cannot exert himself to the best of his ability. Once the cultivation techniques in the fantasy or cultivation world are signed in the future, this problem can be solved. Perhaps by that time, the great wilderness prisoner Tianzhi could have crushed a mountain directly. At this moment, facing the joint efforts of Shui Dai and Hua Taigan, Mu Chen directly unleashed his Paiyun palm. That's right, my father Xiong had already taught him the mnemonic of returning vitality to the third part. However, due to physical reasons, I was unable to practice before. With the help of the 9 orifices golden pill, he can easily learn any martial arts. The 3 ultimate skills of Pai Yun Palm, Feng Shen Leg, and Tian Shuang Fist are naturally effortless. Disaster clouds descend from the sky. Mukun activated his true chi, and as he lifted his palm, the mist of blood in the air condensed into a clear palm, rushing towards the two of them. The palm is surging. Like dark clouds spreading everywhere, a tsunami is coming. At this moment, Bu Jingyun, who was standing in the main hall, was greatly surprised by the palm of his hand. He has been practicing the Paiyun palm since he was young, and naturally he can see that the move used by Mu Chen has become sophisticated and even more powerful than him. Similarly, both Shui Dai and Hua Taigan were extremely shocked. Due to Shui Dai leading the way, he was the first to use his sword to resist. However, under this terrifying palm, his sharp sword broke inch by inch, unable to stop the attack at all. Seeing that there was no time to defend, he quickly abandoned his sword and turned his shield with both hands to resist. But how could the mere physical body block it? This palm directly shattered his arms, and at the same time, a large blood hole pierced through his chest. Shui Dai couldn't believe it and widened his eyes, then he died on the spot. And Hua Taigan, who was slightly behind, quickly retreated upon seeing the situation. Even his 2 guns were so scared that they fell to the ground. Monster! You're a monster! Hua Taigan had completely lost his fighting spirit, and he was completely scared and disoriented. Everyone present couldn't help but sigh when they saw this scene. The 4 of Fallen Flowers and Flowing Water were originally famous heroes in the martial arts world, but they couldn't see the situation clearly and underestimated the strength of the World Association. Now it has come to such an end. However, immediately everyone became fearful of Mukin's strength. Just 2 moves, defeat 2 masters of the same rank. Such terrifying achievements are unprecedented. They originally thought that the younger generation in the world would be led by Fengyun, but now it seems that this young master of the world is much stronger than the 2 of them. At this point, the situation in the field is already very clear. 2 of Nan Siki were killed, and Lu Qingfeng was severely injured by a powerful move from the tyrant. Only Hua Taigan with no fighting spirit remains. The disciples of Wushuang City also suffered heavy casualties. Du Guming lost his arm and was bleeding heavily, leaning on the ground. The other sect leaders who followed the trend all had lifeless faces. Especially the few people who used to speak harshly were frightened even more. One by one, they quickly knelt down on the ground and kowtowed to the Xiong Ba, saying, "Master, spare your life. We are obsessed and believe in treacherous words, which is why we have committed the above actions. We are willing to join the World Association." Xiong Ba ignored these people and instead came to Mu Chen's side, asking with concern, "Chener, have you been injured?" Mukin shook his head and said lightly, "Father, don't worry, these stinky fish and rotten shrimp are not enough to pose a threat to me." Upon hearing these words, the tyrant laughed heartily and said, "Good child. Today you have broadened my father's horizons." Mukin responded with a smile. He only needs to complete the check that I end now, and his strength will definitely improve rapidly. Today's battle also made him more adaptable to this world. Congratulations, sect leader. Congratulations, sect leader. Now that the young master has achieved divine skills, our world will have the potential to lead the martial arts world. At this moment, a man wearing a tall hat and a funny appearance in the hall quickly slipped his beard and patted the horse path. The tyrant burst out laughing at the words. Mukin looked at this person, and the person in front of him was Wen Cho Cho. The most flattering figure in the world, and the means of collecting intelligence are also not low. Chener, what do you think should be done with these people? Subsequently, Xiong Ba pointed to a group of disciples from the unmatched city and spoke to several leaders who had previously refused to submit. Mukin's tone contained a murderous intent, saying, "There will be a sense of disobedience towards our world, so there is no need to go back alive." After speaking, his whole body trembled with true energy. Raise your palm and shout at this group of people. The surging true chi immediately shattered the hearts and veins of this group of people, and they fell to the ground without a sound. The shouts of those masters suddenly came to an end. Only half-dead Du Guming, Lu Qingfeng, and Hua Taigan remain. Most of the people in the martial arts world present were startled by Mu Chen's methods. So many lives are being killed without any mercy. Undoubtedly the young master of the World Association. Hurry up, throw these people out and don't mess up the main hall. Wen Cho Cho seemed to be familiar with this matter and quickly ordered his servants to clean up the bodies. Mukin's killing of so many people is not because he has a strong killing intention, but because he took advantage of this opportunity to warn many martial arts people in front of him. Let everyone know that if you dare to harbor evil intentions against them, there is only one way out. At this moment, Hua Taigan can no longer hold on. Quickly kneeling down, he arched his hand and begged for mercy, saying, "The young master has unparalleled divine skills. The powerful leader of the gang will endure for generations. I am convinced that I have lost, and I hope you can spare my life. I am willing to work hard." No one expected that this flower hero would be so greedy and afraid of death. He knelt down directly and begged for mercy. Lu Qingfeng, who had already been seriously injured, was so angry that he vomited blood and shouted. "Second brother, why are you so spineless? Big brother and fourth brother die without closing their eyes." Hua Taigan begged for mercy in front of so many people present. How could he possibly ignore what Lu Qingfeng said? As long as he can survive, he is stronger than anything else. Chapter 10. Inviting guests, beheading and accepting them as dogs. Famous in the world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Humph, falling flowers and flowing water, but that's all. Xiong snorted coldly, showing great disdain for these martial arts heroes. Immediately, he looked at Dugu Ming and said calmly. Originally, if you dared to lead your troops to invade our world club, you would undoubtedly die. However, I still want you to deliver a message to the Wushuang city. If anyone in your city wants to avenge Dugu's side, I, Xiong, am waiting for you. Dugu Ming covered his broken arm with a displeased expression. But at this moment, he is fortunate enough to regain his life, not to mention revenge. So he said in a deep voice, "Don't worry, I will definitely tell Lord Song what you say, and he will seek revenge on you." Many people in the martial arts world have heard him speak of the Lord of Song. I knew it was Song Yanhui, who took over the position of the city lord after the death of Dugu Yifang, who claimed to cut off the water with one sword and cut off the flow of 1,000 rivers. After Dugu Ming finished speaking harshly, he quickly covered his wound and fled. Hua Taigan saw this scene and also hoped that Xiongba could let him go. Heroic sect leader, I have a blind eye to Hua Taigan, and I hope you will let me off because I have never bullied the weak. Xiongba gave him a cold glance, ignoring his plea for mercy and instead asking for Mu Chen's opinion. "Chinner, what do you plan to do with the remaining 2 people?" Mukin carried his hands on his back and spoke indifferently, "Both of you are grandmaster level figures. If left unchecked, it would undoubtedly be like letting a tiger return to the mountains." Upon hearing these words, Hua Taigan's face turned pale with fear and he quickly said. The young leader has unparalleled divine skills at such a young age. I, Hua Taigan, dare not have the heart of revenge. As long as I can be spared, I am willing to repay your kindness as a bull and a horse. Everyone present sneered at the rumored hero when they saw this situation. Such a spineless master is also rare in the martial arts world. However, all of this was his own fault, and he couldn't blame anyone else. Later, Mu Qin changed his tone and said, "However, today is my father's birthday banquet, and I don't want to waste my life. So, I plan to spare one of you. Whoever can survive depends on yourself." After speaking, he ignored him. As soon as these words were spoken, Hua Taigan naturally understood Mu Chen's meaning. His emotions changed in his eyes, as if he had made some decision. Immediately, he gathered his true energy and suddenly turned around, slapping Lu Qingfeng with his palm. With a loud bang. Inner strength penetrates through the body. He actually directly shook off Lu Qingfeng's entire meridians. Lu Qingfeng could only widen his eyes and continuously bleed from his mouth, unable to believe that Hua Taigan would kill him. Everyone present was also very open-minded. No one expected that this Hua Taigan, in order to survive, could actually do something to kill his own brother. Mukin is not surprised at all. In the original work, this Hua Taigan is a petty person who is greedy for life, afraid of death, and forgets his righteousness. Now it's just exposing its true nature. Hua Taigan trembled with his brother's blood-stained hand and said to Mu Qin. "Young master, I will follow your words and kill this person. Can you spare me?" Mu Chen's cold eyes met and he spoke. "Let you go. I only said spare my life, but I didn't say let anyone go. Besides, it's really rare to have such a skilled servant like you. In the coming period, let's also incorporate your Eagle Claw Iron Gun Gate into my world association. You don't need to go anywhere, just stay by my side and be an obedient dog. After listening to Hua Taigan, his pupils trembled greatly. He finally understood that all of this was intentional by the young man in front of him. The purpose is to make oneself have no way out. What a deep calculation. The Eagle Claw Iron Gun sect was a sect he forged half his life, with not only thousands of disciples under his command, but also significant wealth and income every year. Now that he has been incorporated by the World Association, his heart is dripping with blood. But at this moment, he couldn't muster any resistance. If he doesn't agree, the consequences can be imagined. I can only bow my head and say, old slave, thank you for sparing your life, young master. And this is indeed Mu Chen's plan. Being able to recruit a master-level character as a servant and also expand the power of the World Association. Kill two birds with one stone. Why not do it? The martial arts world is not just about fighting and killing. As for whether Hua Taigan will falsely submit and seek revenge in the future, Mukin doesn't have to worry about this at all. Hua Taigan killed his sworn brother in front of so many martial artists. The reputation has been completely tarnished, and the entire Jianghu may not have a place to hide. The exit route has been closed, let alone the matter of retaliation. Only the world can accommodate him. And, for someone like Hua Taigan, it's really too difficult to make him sacrifice his life for justice. In his past life, Mukin was well versed in a set of steps. Treat, behead, and accept as a dog. Having a dog that bites people is also much more convenient for wandering the world in the future. At this moment, Hua Taigan was like a sun monkey wearing a tight band, already obedient to Muchenji. Mukin's move truly shocked everyone present. You should know that those who come to attend the birthday banquet are all leaders of a certain sect or children of aristocratic families, and their status is not low. Just a little thought will help you understand Mu Chen's plan. So think even more carefully and be extremely afraid. No one expected that this young master of the world society not only had a high level of martial arts, but also had such profound strategies. This means and strategy are even more powerful than a tyrant. At this moment, even the tyrant couldn't help but brighten his eyes. The World Association is now growing, with a faint trend towards becoming the world's top gang. As the hegemon in charge, he has yet to make a decision on the choice of successor. Originally, Mukin was unable to cultivate martial arts. What he wanted to do was to ensure his son's lifelong wealth and prosperity. Among his three disciples, Xiong is undoubtedly relatively suitable as the successor. But the problem is that Xiong's personality is too fragile, making it difficult to protect the world and survive in an environment surrounded by strong enemies. Nowadays, his son Mukin is far ahead in both martial arts and strategy. How does this make him unhappy in his heart? Ha ha ha. Wen Cho Cho, command to continue playing music. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope the recent incident did not disturb everyone's drinking. Xiong Ba burst out laughing and greeted all the people in the martial arts world. As the instruments played, the scene suddenly resumed its liveliness. However, nowadays the focus of banquets is not only on Xiong Ba, but also on Mu Chen. After 3 rounds of drinking, the banquet ended. The guests in the room bid farewell one after another, leaving the world meeting one by one quickly. There is no other reason. What happened today can be considered a significant event in the martial arts world. And the Tianzhi Association also produced a proud figure, far surpassing the famous Feng and Yun duo in the martial arts world earlier. This is enough to make the weight of the World Conference heavier in their hearts. Some of them have to plan to replan their relationship with the Tianzhi Association after returning to their ancestral family. The next day, the matter of the Tianzhi Association has spread in the martial arts world. The 4 masters of the Southern Four Wonders joined forces with more than 10 sects to kill the Tianzhi Association and seek revenge for the side of Dugu Wushuangqing. But the result was heavy casualties. Nansiki died to the point where only a flour iron was left to work hard. All other disciples of the sect were killed. And all of this is because of one person. Son of a tyrant, Mukin. This name was discovered by various sects and forces at the same time, accompanied by its decisive methods of killing and attacking. Suddenly, the rivers and lakes are full of wind and clouds.